We have stretched the environment to its limits.
La sidérurgie en Europe émet à peu près 200 millions de tonnes de CO2 chaque année.
Steel is a dirty industry, but it's come a long way.
There are three major environmental threats. One is related to global warming and climate change. The other one is related to water. And the third one is related to biodiversity.
In South Africa, water is a very scarce resource. The steel business is very water intensive. Therefore, being zero effluent is a requirement.
As a solution to this water concern, Saldanha Steel was planned and based to be a zero effluent plant. The biggest advantage is basically that no liquid effluent is leaving your premises.
Everything here is kept in a lined pond. It prevents any sort of contamination of the aquifers below the ground. The steel industry is very polluting. If you are willing, you can make it very environmentally friendly.
Arcelor was a little bit convinced that they were ahead of Mittal on the environmental front. Mittal wasn't really so bad. And most of the research on global warming has been carried out in the US. The Mittal plants in North America are pretty much at the same level as the Western European plants.
Steel is not the worst industry in the world. It's relatively clean because steel can be recycled. If you look at some of our facilities in Europe, we have the lowest emission standards per ton. Now what we're doing is we're transferring that technology and that know-how on a global basis so that the rest of our facilities can be even higher than their local environmental requirements.
The steel industry is the biggest recycler of the world. We consume 27 million tons of scrap. What would you do when you finish the life of your car? Well, look, we get that car, we melt it and redo steel with it. So we're the biggest recycler in the world in that sense.
CST is self-sufficient in energy and water. We recycle and sell 97% of our waste. It's benchmarked in the steel industry. We are on the environmental division at CST. Here we have online data about the air quality around CST. We send this data to the environmental agency to check. We have 1.5 million trees around the CST. These trees reduce our dust emission in the industrial area.
For the last 40 years, we have cut energy consumption by 60% and CO2 emission by 55%. It's extremely difficult to do any better, at least for the steel mills which are at the top.
Arcelor, avant la fusion, donc, avait une performance énergétique qui était meilleure que celle de Mittal, ne serait-ce que parce que les usines d'Arcelor sont quand même beaucoup plus localisées à l'ouest, donc là où on a fait des efforts. Mittal, par contre, a récupéré des usines qui sont souvent beaucoup plus anciennes, que ce soit en Europe de l'Est ou même dans d'autres pays. C'est vrai que dans le court terme, notamment si on s'intéresse aux usines d'Europe de l'Ouest, la capacité à réduire les émissions est relativement faible. En Europe de l'Est, par contre, c'est déjà moins le cas. Ce sont souvent des usines beaucoup plus vieilles. Après, à plus long terme, il y a des projets de recherche comme le projet ULCOS qui réunit tous les sidérurgistes pour travailler sur ce qu'on appelle des ruptures technologiques.
The target of the ULCOS project is really to try to reinvent the way of making steel in order to cut CO2 emissions by more than 50%.
Any company that wants to have a future has to take care of the environment and will make all necessary efforts and investments for that. We want the planet for our sons, grandsons to be much better than what it is today.